There's a lot of buzz that the San Francisco 49ers could trade up in the 2025 NFL Draft. What would that mean for San Francisco? Which players could they target? We're talking about all of that here and more on today's Niners Report by Chat Sports. My name is Chase Sr. So glad all of you are hanging out here with us. I do want to give you a programming alert. This is pretty exciting. Here at Chat Sports, we are doing a company-wide live NFL mock draft on Thursday. So I'm recording this show Wednesday, April 16th. Join us Thursday. The show gets underway at 2 p.m. Eastern. So basically what's going to happen, all of our hosts here at Chat Sports who cover all teams across the NFL will be making picks for their teams. For instance, I'll be on the clock at number 11 for San Francisco, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you join us. Don't miss it. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we go live, when we push out a show, you'll be notified, and you can stay in the know with all things Niners every single day, year-round. The 2025 NFL Draft, it's coming up very quickly. We're nearly a week away from round 1, which will start on Thursday night, April 24th. Rounds 2 and 3 will be Friday night, April 25th, and then we'll get up early and do it all over again. But for rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday, April 26th. The Niners have a lot of draft capital in the chamber, locked and loaded, ready to go. They've said time and time again, we want to build through the draft, and they have a wonderful opportunity to do just that. Their first round pick, number 11 overall. Their second round pick, a great opportunity to get another marquee player at number 43. They have 2 third rounders at 75 and 100. So that's 4 picks inside the top 100 for San Francisco. Have to hit on these draft picks because these players are going to have an impact in 2025. Round 4, 113, another 4th rounder at 138. The Niners have that sweet spot in these mid to late rounds. So 2 5th rounders at 147 and 160, and then 3 7th round picks at 227, 249, and 252. And with all of that draft ammunition, the Niners have an opportunity to trade up, and they have optionality on their side and the flexibility in order to do just that. The Niners, of course, have a lot of draft needs. They're tied for having the most picks in the NFL draft with 11. If they trade 1 or 2 of those in this year's draft, they also have so many picks in the 2026 draft, that allows them to move up if they see a player who they love still on the draft board to get a player who they really covet. My draft needs, I'm looking at left guard, center, and right tackle along the offensive line, edge and defensive tackle. You need multiple players there. Wide receiver and tight end 2, and then cornerback, linebacker, and safety. There was this report that got a lot of traction on X on Tuesday from 49ers and NFL News 24/7. They are reporting that the Niners have reached out to teams picking inside the top 6 of the draft to potentially trade up and select a player per source. The Niners have 11 picks in the 2025 draft and have a projected 10-plus picks with compensatory picks in 2026, giving them ultimate flexibility, which is what I just noticed. And we've been talking about this a lot in the pre-draft process, right? Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Jed York, they have made it a point to build through the draft. They let a lot of players walk in free agency. They've been able to shed a lot of salary as part of that. They're eating a lot of dead money this year so that they don't have to worry about it in the future where other teams decide to push it down the road. The Niners have done that the last few years, which is why they're in the cap situation that they're in, because they were Super Bowl contenders. So San Francisco here is in a glorious spot. The future of this team really hinges on the 2025 draft and the 2026 draft, and the Niners here locked and loaded with picks to be able to really build and fortify their roster. As I always say, when you build through the draft, you're able to get younger. You're able to bring in youthful energy and juice. These younger players are normally healthier and usually hungrier. Most importantly, financially, they become cost-controlled contracts who are under contracts the next 4 or 5 years at a very discounted rate as compared to what really good players get in NFL free agency. Looking ahead to the 2026 NFL draft, the Niners have their own first rounder, their own second rounder, their own third rounder. They have a compensatory pick in round 3. Their fourth round pick is their own. They have another compensatory pick in round 4. They have their own fifth rounder. They have a sixth of their own, a sixth round pick from the Vikings, and then 2 round 7 compensatory picks. So you think about the draft capital that the Niners have the next 2 years. A lot of picks inside the first 4 rounds, a lot of selections in the top 100. And for the purpose of this conversation here, when you have that many picks in the chamber, you can use those picks this year and next year to move up under this condition, though. Which brings us to the next portion of today's show. You only move up and matriculate up the draft board if there's a player or players on the board who you absolutely love. And I'm looking at a few realistic trade-up targets if they fall, right? The medicals, a little bit questionable for Abdul Carter. I think he goes number 2 or number 3. But if he drops, I'm doing everything in my power to trade up for him, and I'm trading away multiple picks. Travis Hunter is a generational type of player because he's elite as a wide receiver or a corner. Now, I think Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are going to go in the top 3 to 4 picks, but if they fall, I'm trading up for those players. Armand Membu is my favorite offensive tackle in this class. I like Will Campbell a lot. Despite the shorter arms, I think he's going to be a good player at the next level and an excellent scheme fit for Kyle Shanahan. Jalen Walker can be an off-ball linebacker and a pass rusher. And then Tyler Warren is a generational tight end. And then while we're on this topic, here's a look at my top 10 big board. These are my 10 favorite players in this class, who I think are going to be the top 10 best players in this 2025 draft class. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Armand Membu, Ashton Genty, Mason Graham, Mike Green, Jalen Walker, Tyler Warren, Will Campbell, and then Cam Ward is the number 1 quarterback on my big board in what is a weak quarterback class. But that's my top 10 big board and the players who I would really think about trading up for, and they're just players who I think are worthy of that type of maneuver. So let's hear from you. If the Niners do trade up, who should it be for in your estimation, in your eyes? Join the conversation down in the comment section right now. Now, coming up next, we're going to continue to stay on this conversation. More talk and chatter about the Niners moving up in the first round. Stay tuned for that. Some interesting stuff still to come. But first, our sponsor for today's show, our friends at GameTime. What time is it? GameTime. What time is it for you? Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and you get $20 off. Terms apply, first purchase only. With the GameTime app, you get the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. You're going to get the lowest price guaranteed on the GameTime app, or they will credit you 110% of the difference. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can access tickets from your phone. And with these last-minute deals, the more that you wait until the start of the event, the more that the prices drop, and you can save up to 60% off to go to a sporting event, concert, comedy show, and a whole lot more. The Warriors are playoff bound, going to be taking on the Houston Rockets in the first round. You want to catch the Warriors at the Chase Center in San Francisco? You can do that. You want to catch the San Francisco Giants off to a great start in the Major League Baseball season? Plenty of tickets available there as well. Again, download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Field Yates, ESPN NFL draft analyst and expert, pinpointing the Niners as a team that could trade up. Here's what he had to say about that. The 49ers made one of the most audacious recent NFL draft trades as they moved up 9 spots a month before the draft in 2021 and eventually took quarterback Trey Lance. I don't anticipate a move anywhere near that bold this year, but here's a scenario to consider. If Colorado quarterback Ji'Ayir Sanders goes 3rd overall to the Giants, the chain reaction, would likely include the Patriots taking Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter or Colorado receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter. That means the top 2 offensive tackles, LSU's Will Campbell, Missouri's Armand Membu, could reach the 8th pick of the draft. Should that be the case, would San Francisco, with its major offensive line need, consider leapfrogging the Bears at number 10 to draft one of them? Of note, the Bears also an offensive line needy team. The 49ers have a lot of holes to fill throughout the draft, but they also have 11 picks to work with, tied for the most in the NFL draft. Couple of takeaways from that, right? The Trey Lance trade, what a disaster class. He was taken in 2021, already on his 3rd team, as he signed a couple of weeks ago with the Los Angeles Chargers. A disaster class. Can you imagine where this organization would be if they didn't draft Brock Purdy with the Mr. Irrelevant pick a year later in 2022? As for the New York Giants and the possibility of them taking Ji'Ayir Sanders, they have gone to multiple Colorado games. They went to the Colorado Pro Day, and they're working out Ji'Ayir Sanders this week. A big domino here and a big question, what do the Browns do at number 2? Sign Joe Flacco, traded for Kenny Pickett. Will they take a quarterback at number 2? Will they go Travis Hunter? Will they go Abdul Carter? A lot of buzz behind them going Travis Hunter. They have a need at corner. They have a need at wide receiver. And for Niner fans out there, you got to be rooting for as many quarterbacks to go before 11 as possible, because there would be a chain reaction of elite premier players and prospects falling in the draft to a spot like 11 to the Niners, or a spot which would make it realistic and doable for San Francisco to trade up from number 11 without it having to cost all that much. The Saints at number 9 are a team to watch to draft Ji'Ayir Sanders. Hired Kellen Moore, first-year head coach, former offensive coordinator. There's some chatter that Derek Carr might be faking the shoulder injury. He wants out of New Orleans. He's been known to be a pouty SOB throughout his NFL career. So behind Derek Carr, who do you got? Quarterbacks who aren't good enough, right? You have Spencer Rattler, and you have Jake Haener. So they could draft Ji'Ayir Sanders. That could be good news for San Francisco. And for what Field Yates said, if Will Campbell or Armand Membu fall, jumping from 11 to 8, it's not crazy, and it wouldn't require San Francisco having to give up so much as far as draft capital to move up from 11 to 8. And for Will Campbell, excellent athlete, had a really good relative athletic score in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. The LSU product earning a 9.91, 6'5", 319 pounds, 32-inch vert, a broad jump of more than 9 feet. Good for that size. And he clocked a sub-5 40-yard dash. The issue with Campbell, arm length, 32.6 inches. Some people think his arms are a little bit too short. I'm not necessarily worried about that. For Armand Membu, some people think that his arms are a little bit shorter, but he's at 33.5. I'm not overly concerned about that. He might not have the requisite height for the tackle spot at 6'4", but he's still 6'4", 332, had a 9.9 relative athletic score, and he clocked a 4.91 40-yard dash. Both players excellent scheme fits for San Francisco. And I think that they will be very, very high-level players at the next level. For Campbell in the SEC, for LSU, 72.2 overall PFF grade, pass blocking grade of 80.6. I think he can be a little bit better as a run blocker. Gave up 2 sacks, 9 penalties, 5 hits on top of that, and 11 hurries. For me, Membu is the better player. I think he's the better athlete. I think that he graded out better. I think on tape he held up better against elite SEC competition. The numbers back that up as well. 90.4 overall PFF grade. Pass blocking grade of 85.4. Run blocking grade, 87.6. No sacks allowed, 4 penalties, only 9 hurries. And I just think that when you turn on the tape, you look at Armand Membou, moves so well, light feet, good balance, excellent athlete, and when he went up against some of the top SEC pass rushers in the game, he shut them down over and over and over again. The other two positions outside of offensive tackle, edge and defensive tackle, the two positions that I'm eyeing here with the Niners' first-round pick. A lot of mocks have San Francisco going corner. I think it's too early to take a corner in the first round. So pick an offensive tackle. Who would you pick at offensive tackle if you were the Niners? W for Will Campbell, A for Armand Membou.